From the unexplained to the mundane, come join us on a journey to the fringe. Hello and welcome to Journey to the Fringe, the podcast equivalent of an ADHD diagnosis. We are your easily distracted hosts, Taylor and Chelsea, here today doing a Chelsea episode. And I hope we can keep it on track, but that's okay if we don't. That's part of the journey. And that's why we put journey and not just the fringe. Because sometimes we've got to walk and go see that really cool waterfall.
We get there eventually, though. We get to the fringe eventually, for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah. So, Taylor, today I'm left fielding you because he has no idea. I'm talking to you. You have no idea what I'm doing today. Yeah. Well, technically I'm doing both, but right now I'm just talking to you. You have no idea what I'm doing today. And I have one question for you.
Is it black triangles?
Did I just hit a time warp?
Just guessing.
Shit, am I?
I don't know. Maybe read your script quick.
Anyhow, Taylor, if I said NPC to you, can you tell me what you would envision?
Video games, a non-player character.
Yeah, so what is that?
It's a phenomenon that gets talked about a lot right now in like right-wing / conspiracy communities as somebody who's kind of just going through the motions, who doesn't really have their own opinions. When you're talking about video games, it's a character that follows a script, which has specific responses to prompts and a very strict schedule that they follow.
Okay, so I'm not like a gaming person, so that's like someone.
It's the villager that you need to talk to get the next item for your quest.
Okay, that's exactly what I was looking for. So today what I'm talking about is exactly what you alluded to, which I'm glad you're aware of it, which is in the conspiracy world right now, the NPCs, the non-player characters, also known as backdrop people.
Okay, I'm interested to see how this goes, because in my mind, when I hear people say that, it's more so me thinking that they think they're the main character in the game they're playing. Like, they're the main character of life and everybody else is NPCs and fall beyond, and their brains just can't handle the same stuff as them. So I'm like, oh, you have weird delusions of how your life of grandeur that you're living.
Yeah, I have seen it come across on TikTok too, and I think it's a little bit misconstrued from what it actually is. I didn't think I had a whole episode worth of information on this, and I was going to mix it up, which is now going to be a future episode of just weird people. But this one gave me a lot more, and it's not actually what I have been seeing on TikTok. That wouldn't give me a full episode. So let's kind of talk about what a backdrop person is. That's pretty much what Taylor said in the sense of gaming, but let's talk a little bit more in depth about it. So they're also known as NPCs, extras, fillers, or non-source players. They are like energetic holograms created to fill and blend into our reality or human existence. Our bodies might seem real, but according to some spiritual teachings, they're more like empty, soulless program shells made of energy rather than fully conscious beings. These beings look, sound, and act like regular people, and that's on purpose. They were created by you and the source or creator to make this life experience feel more real and immersive.
Chelsea?
It's all part of the illusion. Yeah.
Are you telling us about tulpas?
Good point.
Yeah, we're creating them, so like they're fabricated from our minds, so they're kind of a tulpa.
It borderlines on a lot of different conspiracy theories, and I will go more into it.
Okay.
This is a little more specific to, I think, the idea that you're talking about that you've been seeing on TikTok, that, you know, all these other people are just playing your game.
Yeah, and I do have to
you're
add
the
at this
main
point,
character. Yeah.
I do hope this ends up being an interesting conspiracy coming out of TikTok, because I feel like the last couple TikTok conspiracies we've done are just shit conspiracies.
So this one, I've been seeing it a lot on TikTok recently, but what I'm covering is not the actual TikTok one because we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But The point of this whole thing that I'm going to talk about as well is that this is really in a very much you are creating this kind of thing. And it's also part of that simulated reality. But in reality, the way it actually is that you could also be an NPC. I could be an NPC. And that's the cool thing about it as well, where you're questioning, oh my God, is this me? And that'll make more sense as we go on through the episode. So it's all a part of the illusion of the Matrix, designed to help true players grow and learn through deep, meaningful experiences. Backdrop people come into play in a universe where souls evolve, such as reincarnation, for example, or ascension. Your soul is moving through lives and experiences to grow and go elsewhere, I guess.
So is a backdrop character then just waiting for their soul to come to them, to like reincarnate into them then?
No.
Okay. Because I know just personally from watching video games, a lot of NPC characters are just added to provide atmosphere and presence. Is that why is it to make the big cities feel bigger that we have all these backdrop people?
Very good question. And it's all going to be answered for you.
Okay.
But we have a couple key players in this series. So first up, we're going to take a look at Dolores Cannon. Do you recall or know of her?
No. Have we talked about her?
We've not talked about her, actually. And I'm scared to say this, but I like Dolores Cannon. Don't want to get into her background because I can't fully remember her whole background. Maybe we'll do an episode on her.
Did her family invent cannons?
Yes.
Is that where all their money comes from?
I don't know, actually.
All that cannon wealth?
So she, all in all, to give you the Cole's notes of her, the very...
Oh yeah, she looks like a Dolores.
Yeah, I know, doesn't she? She is a regression therapist and author, and she has a whole bunch of books. They're super interesting, as much as you can say whether you believe in regression and stuff like that. I've read her first book, and some of the stuff is super hard to comprehend. So she regresses abductees and stuff like that. And the really cool thing about her is she was doing regression to find out about their abduction experiences, and she was regressing them to a place past what happened to them in their abduction experience. So basically, the people who were being abducted, the aliens were acting as kind of a conduit between, how do you put it, like what's behind the curtain, like the universe,
God,
and quote unquote God,
yeah,
however you want to say it, and they were just kind of acting in between that. So
God, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty interesting, and she kind of talks about like the fabric of reality and life and stuff like that. It gets pretty
okay.
What's
so
the word I'm looking
she's
for?
New Age,
yeah,
universe person. Okay.
Yeah, so she introduces the concept of backdrop people in her book, Convoluted Universe 5. That's the one I read the first one of. It's a really thick book, and she has a lot of
Is it kind of convoluted?
Yes, it's very convoluted. And she describes them as non-real entities, mere energetic beings devoid of souls.
Yeah, that makes sense, because Dolores does not take me for a video game player.
No. So anyway, she was playing Grand Theft Auto.
Just heading into the strip club, and it struck her.
She suggests that backdrop people serve to fill the background of our lives, akin to extras in a movie. She emphasizes that real people with souls and the capacity for evolution are the ones we make contracts with for the purposes of growth and learning.
What?
So contracts being soul groups and stuff like that. Karma, where you're tied into reincarnating with different soul groups, in whatever order. Again, this is...
it's convoluted, right?
There's a lot to this in a little episode that's not actually about Dolores. It's about one tiny concept that she had in the 5th book of her series, The Convoluted Universe. Again, very convoluted. So... she explains that backdrop people are like NPC players in a video game. I wonder if she used that.
She is playing Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, she must be. I wouldn't even know what to call that if I hadn't heard it here first on Journey to the Friend, who don't have a real purpose in the game aside from the main characters in our shared simulation.
Would that not mean you're seeing the same people over and over again, though? If they're created just for the main character, which is you and the people around you?
That's more, I would say, because I'm not an expert on this, /expert. I think that's more on simulated reality. Because in simulated reality, you wouldn't be the center of the universe.
No. Well, you could be. That would be one of the simulations.
Yeah. But in this one, it's for the greater purpose of everyone with a soul who is working towards something. So they're not just there for one main person. Okay. There's more than that one person with a soul that's evolving. There's a lot of them. Okay. Hence.
Now.
And it'll clarify as we go along. It'll give you more and more details.
Does she ever get into the ratio of NPCs to souled characters?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. And I guess my other question right now is, can you be related to an NPC?
That's a very good question. Yes, probably.
I'm just feeling like, are souls genetic? I just don't understand right now, like, the difference, like, how one becomes one or the other. Like, I get they're just kind of born into it, but, like...
No, I don't think it would be a genetic thing. I think it's pure... you have a good train of thought, though. Like, what would... Maybe it's just probability.
I don't know, and my other concern is if we take it down the genetic route... that can become easily a eugenics issue and problem down the line.
Yeah, don't even think that.
Yeah.
Let's just edit that out. We don't want anybody to get the
You guys just stop that right now. We are not going to be the start of another genocide. The genocides have to come from our genocide episodes.
Okay, so I have a treat for you. I'm going to read an excerpt from Convoluted Universe 5.
Yeah, this is when she talks about the strip clubs in the GTA games?
Yeah. This is where she picks up a game controller for the first time. And this is where we see the first idea of a background person come to fruition. This excerpt is from a regression she's doing, and I'm not reading the whole thing. I'm coming in like a third of the way through this regression session she's doing just for the purpose of the mention of the background people. So here we go with Suzette and Dolores. Dolores. You can come into the body with all good intentions about what you're supposed to do, but other things get in the way sometimes. Keep in mind, we're coming in just like mid-conversation.
Yeah.
Suzette. What was her name? Suzette? Suzette. It's like those people back at the cave. They're just people. They don't have a path. They're just people. I had a path. That child had a path. Dolores. So if you choose an option, you don't go off that path? Is that what you mean? Suzette. Yes. There's just so many in this room where the crystals are that choose a life or have a path. The rest of the people aren't sent here on a path. Dolores. What are their lives for then? Suzette. It's like a backdrop. And then Dolores comments outside of this dialogue. She says, I guess this is her, thought. That was a strange statement. I'd never heard that before. Dolores, what do you mean? Suzette, in a movie, they paint something around the person so there's a backdrop. Dolores, so the others don't really have purposes? Suzette, right. They come to live, breathe, work, and die. Dolores, is there any hope that they might find a path? Or are they a different kind of soul? Suzette, they didn't choose. They're just here to be a part of the backdrop. They're slaves. They're slaves that go from one star system to the next, and they are used as a backdrop. Dolores, just to be there for these persons with the purpose? Suzette, yes, for you to learn, to stay on your path. You have these other people in your way, living beside you, but you're here for a lesson, and they're here for a backdrop. Dolores, yes, but sometimes they create problems to try to pull you off your path? Yes, Suzette says. Is that a part of their purpose, to distract you? Yes, Suzette says. But when you're in your body, you don't know all these things, do you? Suzette, not all beings are the light source. Not all light beings are the light source. They're just here as energy to help us with our lessons, to create chaos or to work or just to live. Certain beings go to learn the lessons for the light. So this is Dolores just thinking out loud in her book again. Source, it's like you're just a higher being. Dolores. Then the other ones, they don't evolve to become higher beings? Suzette, no, they're just energy. Like making a movie where they use extras. Dolores, the ones on the path, the higher source, can they recognize each other out of the mass of other people? Suzette, yes. If we could do that, we wouldn't let things bother us so much, would we? Suzette, that's right. Dolores, if we knew they were to add drama, I guess you would say. Suzette, yes. But when you're looking at these options, you can see all different lives.
So, sorry, they're there to add drama, so they're like the Jersey Shore people. Gotcha.
I think they're there to shake things up,
Yeah.
Let's get to it when I finish it. But when you're looking at these options, you can see all the different lives you're going to go into. You know you're speaking through a human body right now, don't you? Suzette, yes. It's probably one of the options you chose, the one we call Suzette. Did you see that as an option before you came in? Suzette, yes. I only chose options where I could save someone. Dolores, why did you choose the life that was going to be Suzette? Suzette, she will be used to surrender with children and higher light beings to teach. I won't be coming back to the crystal planet for a long time, so I have to teach. We have to get the life source higher vibration on this planet. She will be teaching life source children and animals. Dolores, the animals are important also? Suzette, certain animals are a higher life source. Dolores, so like the humans, many animals and insects are like the backdrop. Suzette, yes. And certain ones are a higher vibration. That's where she goes on to explain her thoughts. So that's the end of the dialogue. I just want to add a postscript here. She was regressing Suzette. So this came from a regression session. I should have started it out with that. I realized about halfway through I probably should have said that at the beginning. Fine. But here we are. I just wanted to address what you said, and I'm sure she's going to get to it as well and say it much more eloquently than I'm about to say. But I believe their role is to help the ones with souls on the planet and I guess in the universe to evolve. So they're there to distract from your life's purpose so that you evolve, and they're there to throw in drama and stuff like that too.
So can they be good or bad? Like helping you or hindering you, or are they strictly hindering you?
That's a good question. I would assume it would be either because we have free will.
And Chelsea, just while this is on my train of thought, this reminded me of a Tim Robinson skit that I need you to watch for a second here.
Oh, good.
Because it now makes me understand what he was trying to say.
This is going to be fucked up, I know it.
Hi, everyone. Sorry we're late.
Yeah, fucking babysitter absolutely fucked us. I fucking hate her. She's an idiot.
It wasn't that bad.
I hope she had a good excuse.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Alan!
Yeah, she did. Yeah, it was just like a hit and run.
Oh my God. Should we call the cops?
Yeah, no, we did, but it's okay, because the cops said that, like, the people she hit are just kind of like nothing, so that's fine.
What do you mean the people were just kind of nothing?
They're just, like, not important, like they don't matter. Like,
That's
there's,
not
like, no
what you're
record.
describing.
So,
No, this is exactly what I was
No,
describing.
they're just, like, nothing. Like, they're not even supposed to be around in the area. Bottom line is, no one's going to get in trouble. Nobody should feel sad at all.
Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Again, don't genocide anybody, please.
Yeah, please do not kill the NPCs.
Yes. They should be treated just like everybody else. Now, let's go on to Dolores's inner monologue. This is her thinking right now. I thought the idea of backdrop people was interesting and certainly a new concept, but then I saw more in what the Suzette was trying to convey. I'm not sure why she calls her the Suzette. That could also be me, so I don't know, no judgment.
Okay.
Many times at my lectures, people want more information about the separation of the old Earth and the new Earth, not getting into it. And those will be left behind.
Okay.
I now think this concept holds, it's important for where we're going.
Yeah.
I now think this concept holds some of the answers. He said most of us chose to come and experience life at this time and came with a higher purpose to save the Earth. But unbeknownst to us, other energies were also sent to Earth to play bit parts in our scenarios we have created to act in our illusion. These are called backdrop people who came to live, breathe, work, and die, but have no real purpose other than to be extras in our play. Backdrop to act against. I call them slaves, but I think that is a rather harsh word. They're just energy and little. They're just energy and are taken from one star system to another to play their parts. Rather like the extras in a film who spend their entire lives playing that insignificant part and never getting to play the leading role. It reminds me of the movie The Truman Story, where the young man spent his entire life inside of a created illusion where actors played their parts, before he finally realized it wasn't real. The others were playing their parts very realistically and convincingly. They said these people had become angry, but I think they have picked up that anger from associating with the negativity which surrounds them. And this negativity has increased their anger. This has created all the wars and catastrophes that is present now on the earth. This would also account for the thousands of people who are killed in the various wars and natural catastrophes. They are there to provide the drama for our illusion, they said. Oh, but I don't know, that doesn't make sense to me though, because wouldn't you think that people with souls would also be a part? This is getting very, what's the word for it? Very
Convoluted.
Very intense and spiritual and
Okay.
convoluted. Wouldn't also, in the point of having a soul and reincarnation, would be to go through experiences like natural disasters and like that as well, right?
Yeah, that and apparently just being talked to by NPCs.
Yeah. At least
guy
my
who-
idea of
yeah.
having a soul.
That guy who has to make a funny quip because he spilt some gas on like your pants or something at the gas station, that's an NPC testing.
Yeah.
you.
So they are taken from one place to another to do whatever they need to do there because they are just energy. I think the only way to look at this is with all emotions removed. Just like the clip you just showed me. We wanted to experience certain events in our lives, and these were the people hired by central castings to fill in the scenes. I am not saying this is true, but it is an interesting concept to ponder. More mind candy, take it or leave it. I had to leave that in, obviously. It is now my opinion that these are the ones who will be left with the old earth, the backdrop people, because they do not have a higher vibration or purpose. They teach us lessons by their mere presence, but they are not intended to evolve further. These are the ones who will be left behind. The ones who realize their higher purpose and raise their vibration and frequency will travel to the new earth. There will be those who came in knowing their mission and had high ideas, but they let the negativity of others pull them down and influence them. Those will also have to stay with the other energy on the old earth as they separate. This is why it is important for us to realize that it is only an illusion and find a role in the creation of the new earth and our part in helping others find theirs. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Is she describing like the biblical rhapsody? Like people
it's
being
either
saved
that-
for the new world?
Or something like is similar to what David Wilcock describes with Ascension. Similar-ish kind of thought.
Okay.
I mean, humans always have to throw their own thing in if you're a believer of
And for trademark
reincarnation
purposes,
and
you have to
stuff
make a
like
little
that.
twist, yeah.
I mean, if you believe in reincarnation and stuff like that, I mean, the concept is there, but she has this idea of the new earth and old earth separating. Essentially, it's ascension. I don't know, like, you pick up some stuff you like from some people, you put it down. I mean, it doesn't mean, you know.
Okay.
So she says this strange concept of backdrop people who were similar to extras in a movie left a lasting impression on me. Now when I'm in a crowded airport, cruise ship, or busy city, and I see all the bustling people going about their business, seemingly oblivious of each other, I think backdrop people. An interesting concept and one that probably has more significance than I realize. Now, It would have normally done away with the old Earth, new Earth, but she kind of had some ideas mixed in with that as
Couldn't
well.
leave that out, apparently.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to, but here's just a few more points of what she describes the backdrop people as. She says that this is not actually her talking. I'm just taking a few points from her work now. So first I had conversation, then I had her internal thoughts, and now I have bullet points. I'm covering it all. Backdrop people are just matter. They are more than matter. They are deficient. We create our reality. Wait. And they, yeah.
Those are all contradictory things.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just reading what she wrote. They are definitely contradictory, though. We create our reality, and it's like she's almost like fighting internally with herself about what.
And then moving forward with the next thing, disregarding what she just said.
We create our reality, and they're among things that are created to populate reality. Their job is to populate reality, not to direct it, not to change anything. They're just along for the ride. They're like the background. They're more than that. But they don't know it. They're losing contact with the deeper layers of reality. They're confined to the upper layers, finally being served from the layers beneath. They cannot sustain themselves in the superficial reality alone. They have lives, but they don't have lives. They don't have permanence. Life is life without end. They need to be redefined in order to exist. They need definition. They don't define themselves. They don't have the power to do that. They need to be defined by the environment. They need to be defined by their own perceptions. That's all they have. They have not the power to create, but they do have the power to sense the creation around them. Some conform to this creation. Those are the ones that do well, and the ones that don't do well are the ones that can't.
Right. Does she think autistic people are background characters?
I don't know. I'm not quite sure what to make of that thought process.
That was so weird.
Yeah, no, that last sentence really took a turn. They have families. They've been a species. Species must continue. These bullet points are not helping her point at all. The species must continue. They must reproduce. They must produce all kinds of organisms. Their job is to reproduce. Their job is to bring forth future generations and provide reality with continuity. So it becomes what it must become, and they themselves cannot make it what they must become. They must leave that to others. People need people. They cannot live alone by themselves. They need a web of interdependency. They must support each other. They need each other. We create realities with many beings, not just one, to experience the interdependency of the being, but this end is shallow for one. There is just the one. There can be nothing else. Everything is created from it. So, in a nutshell, that is the first ever mention of backdrop people, and that is essentially her thoughts on it. Obviously it evolves. She has I don't even know how many
I find it very interesting that this originates from, basically, to generalize as much as possible, a grandma. And she did use NPC character like in a video game in the first iteration of this.
Yeah.
But she, outside of that, she doesn't really seem to know what she wants it to be. Like, she wants it to be so many things.
The bullet points at the end did her no favors. So, this next guy, who I have not heard about, has a very interesting concept of this. And his name is Greg Braden. And he has a totally different view, but super interesting point. It's kind of totally the opposite of hers. If you'll get it in a second. He proposes that the emergence of consciousness did not eliminate the existence of Neanderthals, but instead allowed coexistence and even interbreeding. This raises the possibility that some individuals may possess a lower level of consciousness or even lack consciousness altogether. Oh, that's what you said. Is it genetic?
Yeah. And that would be really interesting if it was linked to the Neanderthal genes.
Yeah.
But also, the implications.
Yeah, let's not talk about the implications.
Can we... Kate.
Yeah.
Everybody listening now has to make a promise not to genocide the NPCs. And
Don't do it.
by continuing
Don't
to
even
listen,
think about it.
we understand that to be an agreed upon promise.
Yeah, that's a contract you just signed mentally right now.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
how
we're good. We're
sign
safe.
contract. Okay, good. Various historical and cultural references, such as the Native American concept of the gift of the feather, also allude to the existence of individuals without consciousness. So, very cool as well. That one's just a little blurb, but I think in comparison to what Dolores Cannon was saying, that's pretty cool as a contrast to it, I think, too.
Yeah. Although it would be an interesting idea that only Homo sapiens have souls, basically. But I don't like the idea of dogs not having souls.
Basically, the Neanderthals are not capable of having souls.
Yeah.
That's just how they're genetically predisposed. Soulless. Who would have thought? And that's
I think I remember David Attenborough saying it in one of his documentaries.
Yeah. So I'm just going to summarize for you here a little characteristic list of backdrop people. Number 1, limited depth of consciousness. Backdrop people often exhibit a shallower level of self-awareness and consciousness compared to more evolved souls. Their interactions may lack the depth and introspection that we seek in relationships. Number 2, transient nature. These individuals come and go, entering and exiting our lives without leaving a lasting imprint. They are the acquaintances, co-workers, or passerbys who briefly cross our paths but do not have significant impact on our personal journeys. Number 3, catalysts for growth. Backdrop people serve as a catalyst for our personal growth and self-reflection. They create scenarios and provide the backdrop against which we navigate challenges, learn important lessons, and gain insights about ourselves. Number 4, mirror reflections. While backdrop people may lack complexity themselves, they often act as mirrors, reflecting aspects of our own personalities and unresolved issues. Interactions with them can illuminate our own strengths, weaknesses, and areas for growth. So the impact of backdrop people in a main character's their life would be teaching lessons and boundaries. Backdrop people teach the importance of establishing healthy boundaries in our relationships. Their transient nature or limited depth remind us that not every connection needs to be deep or long-lasting, and that it's essential to discern where to invest our time and energy. Number 2.
In the soul people, apparently.
Yeah, into the soul people. Fuck, this is all really, it gives a really bad connotation when you think about it. Number 2, appreciation for depth. The presence of backdrop people can heighten our appreciation for relationships that possess depth and meaning. Through their contrasting nature, we recognize the value of connections that foster emotional intimacy, intellectual stimulation, and personal growth. Number 3, letting go and detachment. Backdrop people teach us the art of letting go and practicing detachment from those without souls. They remind us that not all connections are meant to be long-term or deeply impactful.
You can just disregard these people. They don't really matter.
Encouraging us to release. You can just do a hit and run.
Yeah.
They don't matter. Encouraging us to release expectations and embrace the impermanence of certain relationships. And that's the end of those points. So the interesting thing to me in reading this, what do you call the main character?
Player character.
Like, I don't know what else would you call him? They never actually referred to in here. The soul character? The player character seems right here.
No, it's because you just take the non out and it becomes the player character.
Okay, no, that makes sense. The thing with it here is generally a player character is the one making impacts. They're the one making change, doing things, someone that is affecting many people's lives all around them. You know what I mean? They're making an impact. They're actually going along and doing change. The funny thing about background people is that anybody could be a background person because
and how do
they
you
have
know?
families. They live their lives.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. How do you know? How do I know?
If
I'm
somebody
not a
just
background
disagrees
person?
with you, you can say, oh, that's a catalyst who's trying to make me
Yeah.
grow and clearly doesn't have a soul.
Yeah, so that to me was the most impactful when I did this episode and did the notes, because I was like, how do I know that I'm not one? Because I also fit the definition of backdrop people, because, you know, I'm just
You are
going
definitely a
along with my
catalyst.
life.
Yeah.
I have my family, I get my groceries, you know, I just follow the motions and things. Like
you just
a
wait
lot
for
of
people to
do.
direct you.
Exactly. But like, how do you discern yourself from that? And so I guess in this, they're kind of saying, you know, I don't really know after reading all of that. Their soul is evolving and going through trials and tribulations and making an impact on the world around us. See, that was more eloquent than what I was just saying. I don't know that I'm doing that, so I am strongly suspicious that I am an NPC. I don't know.
Well-
but so that's what I was left with by the end of this, pondering whether or not I'm an NPC.
And like anybody could be an NPC. Like consciousness does not necessarily dictate the soul, right? Like we kind of think it does, but it doesn't in any way. So it can be anybody.
Which also leads to simulation theory, which also leads to, you know, am I the only one that actually has a soul? Are all of you just background people to me? We don't know the answer to that.
Best not to kill them all, though.
Yeah, best not. I settled on that.
That's just a
long
lot
time
of
ago.
work.
Yeah.
That's so much work.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot of implications to background people. This is not the kind of seat you're going to see on those TikTok theories. The one I kind of like that TikTok has, that kind of has the proof of seeing NPCs, is the fact, or is that simulated reality? It's one of them. And it's, have you ever seen your neighbors bring groceries inside? And that's kind of the point of background
Is the
people.
implications
They're not
that they
really...
don't eat because they're background people?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I've seen that going around TikTok. I haven't really seen all of this stuff on TikTok.
I haven't
TikTok
spied hard on my neighbors enough to really care about their day-to-day lives like that. Oh no, am I an NPC character because I'm too freaking busy to notice my neighbors?
Exactly, and the loop just goes on
Also,
forever.
Just an interesting question I have now for us to ponder. Are introverts inherently people with souls because they're not having an impact on other people's lives?
Yeah. Or we were supposed to ponder that longer.
Yes, I was hoping, but that's fine. Because, like, introverts aren't catalysts to guide you in different directions. They're trying to avoid you as much as possible.
There we go. You just proved the whole theory wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, you just undid all my work. Yeah, anyhow, I've always thought this one was interesting. Maybe we'll do a Dolores Cannon one. I don't know. She's done a lot of work in that.
It seems a little
big
convoluted.
undertaking. It is. It's more than a little. It should be very convoluted.
It's the title of the book.
And they're so thick, too.
I saw there's a lot of them as well.
There is a lot of them. I think she also talks about indigo children and stuff like this.
Oh, we need to do an indigo children thing at some point.
Probably, yeah. The concept that she talks about is an interesting concept, as I also would compare to how I feel about Project Serpo. So...
It's fun to listen to, yes, and talk about the implications.
It's a fun brain exercise to think about all the options of everything it could be.
And with that, I have been Taylor, here for Chelsea. We are Journey to the Fringe. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Journey to the Fringe. If you have liked what you have listened to, please like, share, subscribe, or follow, depending on what venue you are listening to us through. Also, please, if possible, leave a 5-star review, as that really helps us in the algorithms. Should you wish to interact with us, please check us out on your social media of choice. I bet you we are there. And if you really want to communicate with us and give us ideas for new episodes, or tell us that we're wrong and terrible, either way, please send us an email at journeytothefringe@gmail.com. For now, I'll see you in the next episode.